So hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be learning custom editors in Unity. So custom editors are mostly used to make your work easier and manage the projects and work as clean as possible and in more like efficient way, creating new stuffs and working as in a big project. It will be not much easier to use custom editors to speed up your workflow. So without further ado, let's get started. So now after you've created your project, so I have a simple scene right here. So in this scene we're going to pretty much create a simple rotating this sunlight, like rotating the sunlight based on the input that we're using. So this is just a way of showing you how to create your custom inspectors without even having to go to select this directional light source and change it. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, you just want to go to assets and create your script. So this is the script that is going to be controlled by the player. So also go create in your hierarchy, create an empty object and call it game controller. So now this is the inspector that this is the object, the game object that we're going to attach our script so that it can control how the scene is acting. So reset the transform. I like to reset the transform back to 0 because it will be much easier to see where the object is. And just drag your player controller script. Again, you have to create it. Right click, create C# script and call it player controller. This is pretty much a simple script. It hasn't anything. Just double click it, open up in any IDE you're using. For me, I'm using Rider, so it's much easier to work in Unity, right? So now this is a simple script which is a mono behavior. It will just need to exist. It will exist on the game object. So first of all, I'm going to also create my script which is going to act as my editor. So right click, go to create folder. I'm sorry, just get rid of it. So go to script, just right click, create, and forward, and call it editor. So why am I calling editor? So whenever you're creating a folder and call it editor, it will just put in this folder won't be built in when you are going to build the game, because when you build the game and see the game sees some script which has editor references stuff, you will get some errors. But if you put your editor scripts in the folder called editor, so this won't be built in the final build. So without much of talking, right click, create C# script and call it player editor. So now after you're done, double click it to open up in your Visual Studio if you're using Visual Studio. As you can see, my now Rider is synchronizing my stuff, of course. As you can see, I've opened up my player editor, which is the script that is going to control all the editor stuffs. As you can see, there's things that we don't need unless there's some stuff we're going to use. So get rid of it, just left with Unity engine. Also, we're going to import, we're going to using Unity engine. We're going to use Unity editor, and we don't want this object to exist in the game object, so we just need to derive from editor class. So derive from editor, because now this script isn't going to go on a game object. So also get rid of the start and update method. There's just a simple, if I can call it a macro or a specifier. You just need to add this custom editor. This just tells the script that is going to be the editor runtime on the specific class that you specify. So custom editor, then it requires the type of the script that you want to possess. So it's like type of the player controller. Now this is our player script that we have created. So player controller. So now this is a script that this custom editor is going to possess, if you say. So I'm just going to create a void awake. This is like the function that is going to be called before even the start method. And we're just going to override a function which exists in the editor called void override on inspector GUI. So just write it like that. So writer will automatically create the base on inspector GUI. This is just the function that's going to call the implementation of the parent that's going to call the parent script, and then after that you just go to create your own stuff. But I just don't need this one, because if I delete this one in my player controller, any properties that I've created, you won't see it in my inspector. So first of all, I'm going to show you a simple demo. First of all, I'm going to create a simple variable called I'm just going to go public float and call it sun rotation. Let's default it to 1. I'm going to set a range to it. So range, I just need to make it go between 0 and 1. So this is just the range of the sun rotation. Now let me just save and show you what this does. So now, as you can see, there's a multi-object editing not supported, just because of the way of synchronizing this stuff and updating it. So just unselect it and select it again. You won't be able to see your sliders stuff, but go back into the writer. Go back, because now again, every time we're creating this stuff, you won't get you won't see it in an inspector. Like as you can see, because we have possessed this player controller, all the scripts that we're writing are coming from this script. So on inspector GUI function is a function that is going to get called every time the inspector is being updated. So there's a simple way of creating this slider. So first of all, create a GUI layout, an editor GUI layout. So editor GUI layout dot slider. As you can see, this will create a slider editor. So editor GUI layout is different from GUI layout. So editor GUI layout means that you are going to change something and you are going to edit it. So it's like a layout that you're going to change and edit it. But GUI layout is something that you're going to interact with, like a button, like a chat box also, but I'm not sure. But again, go to slider. Now it requires the value that we're going to set this to, but let me just uncomment this range to remove this range complication. So now our sun rotation is going to be equal to the result of the slider, which is going to also be based on the sun rotation, and it also requires the left value, which is now the smallest value you will have. So it's like 0 and go between 1. So that's the only thing you just need to create. Just save and go back into the editor to see the changes. So now as you can see, we have the slider which we can use it. So as you can see, the value which we're getting here is the value that we're setting to the sun rotation. So again, as you've guessed, we can use this value to rotate the sun, to rotate the sun. So first of all, I'm just going to create a method that will do that. So first of all, as you can see, I've only the slider. You can't even know what this says. Like, you can't see the label of this slider. So go back to the editor. So I'm going to start creating, so just bear with me, this is just simple. So just create a GUI layout dot start horizontal. I'm so sorry, that's dot horizontal okay, begin horizontal. So we're going to begin the horizontal layout. So this is just going to lay out all the things that is going to go in between this to horizontal. And before creating this slider, we just need a label. So GUI layout dot label. This label is going to now tell us what this things is. So just name it as sun rotation. So now this is the label that is going to be put in front of the slider. I'm sorry, the sun rotation. So now after creating this label, we just need to also end our GUI begin horizontal. Now we're just going to end the horizontal, because after this we just need to go to the next line. So GUI layout dot end horizontal. So now save and go back into the inspector and see the changes. Okay, now as you can see, we have the sun rotation, and now we're able to see now what this is. So we can just change it and see the result. So again, after creating this slider, now we're going to now start creating the way of rotating this sunlight based on that value. So first of all, go back into your editor, go outside this class and create a public. I'm sorry, I just need also to create a private because I don't want to use it anywhere else. So just say a public light, because we're going to get the light. So call it get sunlight. This is just a function that will return the sunlight that we have. So I just need to go to now light equals to, we're creating a light, call it LG light equals to game object dot find object with tag. Oh wait, can I see it? Find object with tag. Now we're going to tag this to be sunlight. Now dot get component light. So now this is the light that we're getting. Then we just need to return the light that we have created. So return LG. Now we're good to go. But first of all, our sunlight is not tagged to be sunlight. So go to your directional light. As you can see, it's sun tag. Go to the drop down, add a tag. You just need to make sure the tag you're adding is the same as what we've created. So call it sunlight and save it. Now we're creating a tag, but we're not assigning this tag to our light. So select the directional light again, go to tag and add the sunlight tag. So now every time we're trying to get that every time we're trying to get that sunlight, we will be able to get to use this. So first of all, go back to your writer. Also, I'm just going to create light, my sunlight. Now as you can see, writer will automatically make it private because it's not public, right? So I have a variable called my sunlight, and I'm just going to every time in awake function, I'm going to assign my sunlight equals to get sunlight. So get sunlight. So now after getting the sunlight, I can use it in my inspector GUI layout. So first of all, I'm just going to rotate my sunlight. I'm just going to create a float. I'm sorry, we already have it. So let's see. But I might also change this to be game object because I don't want to use any light function. I'm sorry. Okay, we can keep that, but instead of saying private sunlight, we can also change this to be game object, because we just need the game object. There's no functionality we need to get the game object. So there's no functionality we need to use on light, unless besides of rotating the sunlight. So first of all, we're going to rotate our sunlight. So just get my sunlight. First of all, I just need to make sure that it's valid. So my sunlight, if my sunlight is not equal to null, because we don't need to get errors, and else I just need to create a log once there is no sunlight. If my sunlight, so my sunlight is equal to null, I want to debug the log. So debug .log error, and you just need to say that the sunlight was not found in this scene. So now this is like the small log that we just want to output once the sunlight isn't available, just for some reason, even if you haven't assigned the sunlight tag. So this will fail and it will get you will get this error. Or just let me add, or you are missing the sunlight tag, just to remind you that you might be missing the sunlight tag. So now once it's not equal to null, we want to rotate it. So my sunlight dot rotate, I just need to use my sunlight dot transform dot rotate. Now we're going to rotate our sunlight based on we're going to rotate our sunlight on the x-axis, right? Now I just need to create a simple vector, vector 3. I call it rot x rot. I'm sorry, rot because again new vector. Now we're going to create a new vector. The float x-axis is what we want to change, right? So we want to change the x-axis of the sunlight. So first of all, we're going to create the way of multiplying. So first of all, we want to grab our sunlight dot transform dot rotation dot x, then we multiply it with our value that we have created, which is the sun rotation. And we're also going to create our y and z axis will just be the same. So sunlight dot transform, just need to put this on the next line to make it easier to read. So sunlight, my sunlight dot transform dot rotation dot y. My sunlight also, we're going to create a z rotation. My sunlight dot transform dot rotation dot z. So now we've created our vector. Now we just need to put it into our rotation, our rotate function. So just put underscore rot. So this is now the vector that we're going to use as our rotation. So just hit save, go back into the editor. So okay, now what I've also seen is that my sunlight is not updating without even changing it. So just pretending to change my inspector. So this onGUI will be called, and my directional light will start rotating, which is not what we want. But to fix this, go back to your code. What we're going to change, we're going to create a float value. So we're just going to create a float local variable. I just call it multi. So multi, and equals to now we're going to create a multi, which is now going to be the sun rotation and multiply it with 180, because we want to rotate our sunlight 180 degrees from 0 up to, so which means 0 multiplying with the sunlight, which multi is going to be 0, and if it multiplies with 1, now our multi will be 180. So I'm just also, for the sake of just to make sure that this is not going above 180 or going below 180, I'm going to clamp this. I'm going to create a float and call it final rotation, and equals to math function dot clamp. So we're going to clamp the multi-float value, and it's going to go between 0 and 180. So that's basically clamping the value. Also, instead of writing all this stuff, we're going to put the x-axis to be the final rotation, to be the x-axis of this vector. And also the way I'm rotating my sunlight isn't what we name. So my sunlight, I just need to create to call my sunlight dot transform dot set position and rotation. So we're going to set the position to our current position of our sunlight. So my sunlight dot transform dot position. Also, the quaternion rotation is going to be the quaternion, which is going to come from our vector that we've created. So quaternion, so just sorry, this is now going to be okay. So quaternion dot Euler, so this is going to change the vector that we're going to put in here to a quaternion. So the vector is going to be the rotation that we have created. So now let's now save and go back into the editor. So okay, now when I change my sun rotation, so watch out what happens. So I'm changing my sun rotation, and as you can see, my sun is now rotating from the variable that we have created. So, and also I'm going to show you another use of the custom inspector. First of all, we're going to create a button that is going to be displayed to enable light and disable light. So enable light will turn the direction light on, and disable light will now disable the direction light. So go back to the editor. We're going to create a button that will do that. So by creating a button is going to return a value between true or false. So if it is clicked, it's going to be true. So if now the GUI layout, so we're going to create a button. So see how I'm calling GUI layout, because I'm not going to edit anything. So GUI layout dot button. So now it needs the label of the button. So first of all, the label of the button is going to be based on what if the light is disabled or not. So first of all, I'm going to create a bool and call it is on, which is now going to start with the light on. So is on is equals to true. Now let's do another if statement. So if is on, so if our light is on, we just need to check if we just need to turn it off. So just write turn light, so turn light off. So now this is the label that is going to be put on a sunlight. So see how that function is going to help us. So this function called get sunlight. So I just need to put get sunlight. I'm sorry, going to open the curly brace. So just going to say get sunlight dot enable it. So dot enable equals to false. Now we are turning this off, and we are going to also set is on to be false, because now the light is false. Now go back here, say else if the light is on, the light is off, I'm sorry. So if is on is equals to false, now we're going to display another button with different labels. So if GUI layout dot button. So dot button. So we're going to now change the label to be turn light on. So now this is going to turn the light on, and also we're going to create we're going to get the reference to our light. So get sunlight dot enabled equals to true. Now we're turning the light on, and we're again setting our light on to be false again, to be true, because now our light is on. So now save and go back into the editor and see the changes. Okay, now as you can see, combining this all sunlight rotation and just turning light off and on, as you can see, when I turn the light on, it changes the label to turn light off, and if I say turn light off, it will turn the lights off, and if I keep rotating, it will all work. And if I turn this on and keep rotating, turn off, turn on, that's the use of the custom inspector. Just speed up your workflow without even digging every single game object to see what you can change. So also thanks you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new. If you want to see other videos, just click that bell icon, subscribe to this channel, so you can get all the videos, all the new videos that I'm posting. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.